Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhart here, LMP and Lancaster Online. Football season, are you ready? Welcome to LL Football Roundtable 2024, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. Here we are at Penn Manor. It's raining, but it's week one of LL football and we can't wait. Wanted to get started this week over here at Millersville. We talked to a couple of Comets players. They have a big game on Friday night over at Conestoga Valley. That should be a lot of fun. Stay tuned here. We're going to talk to a couple of Comets kids and get ready for all of our week one coverage. Here we go. Dude, it feels like we're still in the middle of the summer, but it's football. How anxious were you guys just to kind of get back out? I know the summer's a drag and it's hot, but just to get out and be together again and get your team going, how big was that for you guys?
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this all summer. Week one's a big deal. So we've been working so hard all season being here. And, you know, it's not, I've said this before, but it's not a change we have. It's just progression that we show. So it's not flipping the switch to week one. It's just now it's time. Now we know we got a game on Friday. Now we're ready to go.
I'm pegging you guys as the sleeper team in Section 1. Everybody knows Township and Wilson, and they're there every year. Why will you guys be successful this year? Why will you not have that 3 straight shutout games in a row like last season, but then you really rallied and played great in the middle of the year? Why will you be successful this year, do you suppose?
Yeah, so I think it all starts with our brotherhood in that locker room. Everyone's kind of come together, and we looked back at the season last year and we said, we don't want that again. We've all been working hard this summer, and everyone comes together. I mean, we have things we need to work on, but so does every other football team. So as the weeks goes on, we're making that better each week.
Okay, let's talk about CV. They had a good year last year. They went to districts and won a game. They have Jaden Johnson, who everybody knows, and he's a really good player. You have to go over there. This has become a really good week one rivalry game. And this is a good game here because both you guys have big expectations. Give me a little preview of what you kind of expect going over to Whitmer on Friday night.
I expect a hard game. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna take for some people to step up and be leaders on our team and really help everyone push through play after play, get through that game. We're hoping to have a good game against them, open our season well, so we'll see how that goes.
What are you learning about CV? What kind of game are you expecting with them?
Yeah, so from a line perspective, we just kind of look at their tendencies and try and narrow things out, make it work in our favor. Overall, we just did like a brief overview, trying to find little nitpick things and work for it.
Our team's going to stick together, play to play. We're not going to let other teams divide us and make us fall apart. We're gonna come out open strong first half of the game, second half of the game as well. We're gonna also play week by week. We have CV, focusing on CV. We're not worried about those games down the road yet.
And we are back in the studio. Thanks to the folks at Penn Manor. Tyler and Jeffrey headed over there the other day, and fun to talk to those folks. But here we are, gang. It's the first edition of the LL Football Roundtable for 2024, brought to you, I'm happy to say, by Auto House of Lancaster. My name is Mike Gross, and I'm hosting these proceedings. To my left is Jason Guarente, the familiar gang, and to my right is Jeffrey Reinhart. We're going to talk about 29 football games week one. This is like twice an NFL weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
And they spread theirs out over, anyway. What do you think, Ryan?
I think it's a lot of games. Probably too many games.
That's an excellent observation.
Yeah, really. Good start. All right.
Yeah.
24 games on Friday night, 5 Saturday afternoon games. I didn't even get to week 2 yet, but I can't imagine there's 29 in week 2. I don't remember a week with 29 games.
It's been a long summer. To me, it's been a long summer, an endless summer, and we've done a lot of preseason preview type stuff. We're going to try to go a little micro and talk about a few games that we think you might find compelling out of the massive throng of 29 on week 1. So let's go to Jason for a little bit on Cocalico and Elizabethtown.
Cocalico, interesting team. Their skill players are back. They have the quarterback, Josh Meyer, 3-year starter. They have the fullback, Dane Horning, who was the starter at the end of the season when Sam Steffi got hurt. And they have Braden Epinette, who's a 4-year varsity guy, the home run hitter like Aaron Longenecker was last year. That's a lot. they have no linemen back. And ordinarily that would be a big problem. But at Cocalico, it never seems to be a problem. They are able to find linemen, coach them up, plug them in, get leverage, move the line of scrimmage. So where most teams you would have all these red flags, you're a run-oriented team, how are you going to move the ball? You really don't have those fears with Cocalico because you sort of expect them to just figure it out.
District final 2 years in a row. I mean, they're one of these name brand programs. And this is maybe a little bit of a theme of the season. There's 4 or 5 programs in Lancaster County that really we think of as name brands. All of them lost a lot, and we'll see if the program, can fill it.
Interesting place, Manheim Central. Lost a lot, has a new quarterback in Ray Lewis. Manheim Township lost a ton. So it's like you said, and Cocalico's in that 5A, they're the 2-time champs, but Manheim's in that division now. Bishop McDevitt's in that division now.
It's a different animal.
But you don't count Cocalico out because they won that championship as a 12 seed.
That's amazing.
Teams don't do that. That doesn't happen, and that's because what they do works and they're so good at it.
Now, there's another team in that game. What do you know about Eaton?
Elizabethtown, well, it'll be interesting. It'll be a test. Last year, Cocalico got beat that first game. Remember, it was the game it came up almost every TV show. How did Warwick beat Cocalico in week 1? So I wouldn't necessarily want to go in there with that history in mind because they're going to be wound up and we're not going 0-1 again. We're not going to let that happen again. So we'll see if they have some magic up their sleeves at E-Town.
There you go.
Now for Jeffrey, we have a matchup that's an all Lancaster County matchup between 2 teams that we think that have not been the super name brand lately, but we think might be making a little bit of a move. Penn Manor and Conestoga Valley.
Yes. See you in Whitmer. Comets at Bucks. And like Mike said, Tyler and I were at Penn Manor earlier this week. Big expectations for Penn Manor.
Yep.
I know they have a new quarterback, but they have some line kids back, some skill kids back. Remember, they got shut out their first 3 games last year. Remember that? They got outscored 84-0, and they were 0-3. And then they kind of got hot. I don't know if they won 4 in a row, but they ended up winning 4 games down the stretch. They beat Hempfield. So big expectations at Penn Manor. Tricky road trip. Bucks are good. They beat Exeter last year to knock them out of first place. Went to districts, won a district game for the first time.
Really low-key had a big year last year.
They flew under the radar because when we got to districts last year, it was Manheim and Cocalico and Township. Wow, they're great. And CV came in, beat Dover, won a district game, and then they ran into Cocalico in the second round. But Jaden Johnson's back, Sensenig's back, Stoltzfus is back, Corson's back, Morgan's back. I mean, they have all these kids who did really well last year. A lot of all-stars coming back.
For a team that
And we're supposed to watch out here for this Sawyer Espenshade kid at quarterback. He's supposed to be the next quarterback kid around here. So love the matchup. That's going to be an interesting game. And whoever wins that gets some good mo moving forward because both teams are going to need it with what's coming up.
Espenshade, great athlete, leading scorer on the basketball team, probably a 1,000-point scorer if he has 2 more seasons like he did last year. So he's just a great all-around athlete.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, we've known about him in the pipeline.
Is he a big guy? Is he a running guy?
No, not a big guy. Oh, okay. But can pocket presence. Can throw the ball. Right. Not going to be a powerful runner.
That name down, people. We'll see what
Sawyer
he can do.
Espenshade.
All right, my game this weekend is a 6A. It's the same game I've covered week 1. This will be the 3rd year in a row.
Big game.
It's a Cumberland Valley at home against Manheim Township. Now, I talked to Mark Evans the other day. He said he thinks of these 2 programs as kind of mirror images of each other in a lot of ways. But in some ways, there's big differences, too. And the recent history, I think, kind of illustrates that. 2 years ago at CV, 31-27, CV beat them. I really thought Township should have won that game. Didn't because they were kind of unwilling and unable to run the ball on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, down in the goal line, that kind of thing. Really, with a very young offensive line. Now, store that away. Township then beat them in districts. They avenged that loss. Anyway, last year, Hayden Johnson, 23 of 26 for 274, which is that's a decent night at the office. and Township wins 35-6, and then they both lost to Harrisburg in districts. These teams last year. Anyway, so this year, all those linemen that 2 years ago were young and they didn't have confidence in them to go ahead and run it, they're all back, and they're all veterans, and they're all seniors, and that's the strength of their team. Now, Township has produced a college quarterback 5 times in a row.
Oh,
They've
interesting.
produced 5 college quarterbacks in a row. The new guy is a senior named Carson Weisner. Is going to be the starter, and we'll see what he can do. But it might be a different Township team. But I think it's going to be a good Township team. Maybe a little more ground game and defense oriented. But I think Township's going to be very good again. Again, it's this thing similar to what we were talking about with Cocalico.
Yeah, Weiser was a mini-me with Johnson. Kind of followed him around.
Yeah.
Let's mention Declan Clancy too. Section 1 linebacker of the year, and he'll be their primary
and an excellent running back.
Yeah, their primary rusher.
Their best option as a runner too, and they have a lot of athletes on defense. I think so. Yeah, I think Township's going to be pretty good. What else is on the horizon, Ryan?
2 games we should absolutely mention. Milk Jug. LS at Slanko. LS leads that trophy series 10-4, and they won last year big. Caleb House, new quarterback for LS.
A lot of buzz about him.
Yep, he should be decent. Slanko brings back some line kids. Garcia's back at fullback. Milk Jug, don't miss it in Coreyville. And I think this might be the best game in the state. Southern Columbia at Wyomissing on Saturday at 1:30. Yep. Wow. Southern's won 7 state titles in a row, and their coach is Jim Roth. 499 wins. So if they win, he gets 500.
He's done
Southern,
okay for himself.
Yeah, Southern got cleaned out. They only bring back 3 starters, but I assume they reload at Southern with 7 straight state titles.
I think it's the same.
YO lost some kids, but they have Nadrowski and Eisenhower and Hardy and Tipton. They'll be just fine. So that's a huge game there. Wow.
So much for easing into the season, I guess.
Tell me about it.
Ready to go.
Well, it gives them 9 weeks. Whoever loses has 9 weeks to kind of pick up the pace. But
yeah,
that's
and they're
great.
both. I mean, they're not going to not make districts.
Yeah,
either one of them. So I think it's excellent that they're playing this kind of a showcase game this early.
True. Kutztown, Fleetwood in the Hall of Fame game. Exeter, Daniel Boone in the Pig Iron Bowl. Tyler, a couple of trophy games here in week 1. 29 games. My head is spinning.
How about you, Jason? Your head spinning?
A little bit. A little bit.
You'll be fine. I have confidence you'll be fine.
We'll make it through.
Yeah, that's right. All right, gang. That's a little taste. We're going to get more into, the section races and just as the season starts to take shape. But again, 29 games this weekend, and go out and check out some high school football. One of these games look like, the ones we talked about look like great matchups, but there's a lot of other ones too. We just can't wrap our arms around it. But anyway, high school football is here. This has been the LL Football Roundtable, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. For Jason and for Jeff, I'm Mike, and we'll see you next week.